Greetings, sports entertainment fans! Tovarish Pazan here at ringside as iPadBoardGames.org presents the review of WWE Supercard. Top Trumps, basically war with collectible cards, is barely a game. WWE Supercard, in turn, is basically an overproduced WWE-themed Top Trump set. So why has our reviewer logged over 400 games? As with nearly all games of the genre, such as the disappointing Star Wars Force Collection, you'll start out with a pack of cards containing one rare and several common cards, each with various values for 4 different stats. From these, you'll assemble a 7-card exhibition deck and a 14-card King of the Ring deck. Exhibition mode is the heart of the gameplay, such as it is. Each game consists of 3 matches, 4 if the best of 3 ends in a tie, possible as a tie match counts as a win for both players, and each match will name 1 or 2 of the 4 stats. You'll need to select a card from your lineup, 2 for a tag team, and after a brief animation, whichever card has the highest stat wins the match. Stats can be modified by playing one of your 2 support cards. You can do this once per game, not once per match. And in a tag team scenario, there are symbols the teammates will match to add a stat bonus, or mismatch to incur a stat penalty. After each game, you'll be presented with a grid of 25 cards. Losing a game lets you pick 1, winning a game lets you pick 2. The grid resets once you uncover a rare or better card. You can also buy credits that give you more picks, but they aren't really necessary. Games only last a minute or 2, so it isn't hard to collect cards just by playing. As is true for basically every game in this genre, you can level up your cards by sacrificing your less powerful cards. Each card sacrificed adds a certain number of experience points. Enough experience points adds more levels. Levels add to stat values. Identical cards can also be combined to earn Pro status, which gives them a small stat boost and allows them to be leveled up higher than an identical card of the same rarity. To the extent that there's an overarching long-term goal in this game, it is to move up in the ranks by having the cards in your exhibition deck power up. As you do so, you gain the ability to get increasingly rare cards from the post-game grid. There are 7 levels of rarity, and after the first couple are hit, it takes 3 levels worth of, leveling to get to the next one, so there's plenty to chew on here if you're so inclined. Though the game is simple, part of what makes WWE Supercard compelling is a surprising lack of paywalls. As noted, you can get cards quickly and easily, and the low mental overhead means you can do this easily while talking on the phone, watching TV, sitting in a meeting. The possibilities are endless. The King of the Ring mode, a 54-game brawl that happens in the background, is the only place where freemium shenanigans raise their ugly head, and even there it's pretty mild. Your deck has 5 active wrestlers and 5 resting wrestlers. Active cards lose 8 stamina per game with a corresponding stat drop. Resting cards gain 6 stamina per game. In between games, you can swap the position of cards between the bench and the mat, and you can use energy refills, purchasable or earnable at a not too difficult rate, to instantly zap them back to full health. It's rigged against the free player to an extent, but 54 games takes many hours to get through. It's unlikely that all 16 players in your pod will be willing to pour money into a pay-to-win scheme throughout the entire thing. A fully interactive tutorial does exist, but the game doesn't really need one, which makes games that do need them and lack them all the more puzzling. The game boasts of having more than 400 cards, but this is somewhat misleading. It's really more than 200 cards that exist both in standard and pro editions, and many of the wrestling personalities are repeated across several levels of rarity, though at least they get a different picture every time. With a low barrier to entry, and the least abusive freemium model we've seen in this genre of game to date, WWE Supercard is a surprising gem if you're a WWE fan. Others may find less to love, as part of this game's charm is how its subject branding utterly infuses every corner. Let's be clear, this is barely a game, more like an activity to kill a few minutes in the checkout line at a grocery store. For all that, it has an almost non-existent barrier to entry, and it's possible to play hundreds of times without spending a dime, making it a perfect downtime companion when your brain is fried. The game is bombastic, pretty, unchallenging, and oddly compelling, which means, if nothing else, it's a perfect match for its source material.